Hey guys, how you doing? Coach TJ Fiorino here, and I want to talk about bad exercises. I'm sure that we've all heard throughout the course of our fitness sports performance journey that certain exercises are bad. Squats being bad for your knees, deadlifts are bad for your back, insert exercise name here. I want to have a discussion today about why have those things come up in the first place and present some information where you guys can make a decision on your own for which exercises are good or bad.
Okay, first bad exercise that we are going to speak about is none of them. There are no bad exercises. The ways that any exercise can have a negative impact on you has nothing to do with the exercise themselves. As long as things are loaded properly, progressed properly, the actual exercise in of itself might not be the cause of the problem that you may be experiencing. So now that we've established that there are no bad exercises, what do we really mean by an exercise is bad or bad for you? Well, the first thing that I want to speak of is your ego. You might be moving too much weight that you can handle for that specific movement in that rep and set scheme. Take your time, develop the skill of that particular movement, and you are going to be fine. The second thing I want to talk about is frequency. You could be doing this movement too often, and if you don't have an adequate amount of time to recover from the last time you've done this movement, that eventually can lead to things in your body being a little bit upset with you. Doesn't mean anything necessarily is wrong with the movement you're doing. The frequency might be a little bit much. And the last thing I want to speak of is a lack of variation. Doing the same movements over and over again with no change will not only create plateaus, but will eventually turn into a decrease in performance. Something as simple as changing up your bar placement, changing up your hand grip, going from a dumbbell to a barbell or vice versa. You do not need to be doing the same training mode over and over again, and your body's going to thank you for it. So, what are some things to consider when choosing exercises? First things first, pick an exercise you like to do. There are no bad exercises. If you love overhead pressing, you should overhead press. If you love dumbbell rows, you should be doing dumbbell rows. This should be fun. We are building towards a goal and bettering ourselves. Learn to enjoy the process, and it's much easier to do that when you're doing exercises that you like. Secondly, be realistic on what you are physically capable of doing. Not solely in terms of the weight that you can push, but in terms of how you are moving. If there are immobilities coming from any aspect of life, injuries or not, you need to have an understanding on what you can physically do, because that is going to dictate how we train.
And at the end of the day, guys, doing physical things is good for you. Any exercise you put forth under these recommendations and guides is going to be good for you. I want to thank you all for listening, and stay strong.